Now, it's no secret that if an analyst is not pretty bullish on a company, most managements will not allow that analyst to arrange the dates, and therefore the analyst is shut out. So sell-side analysts should be taken about as seriously as, you know, your 5-year-old kid when we're talking about stocks.
Well, I don't think that's fair, Carson. A lot of them are unbelievably well-trained, and a lot of them often get things pretty much right. So I think that's completely wide of the mark, even if at times there are examples to point to where they do get things wrong. I wanted to ask you, though... sorry, go on.
No, I mean, it's hard for me to let that one lie, Wilfred. I mean, they can get non-controversial things right. I mean, if you have a company that is...
Have you got every single call you've ever made absolutely right?
So I have 8 delistings, and I think...
have you got every single call right? Have you got every single call right? Because if you haven't, you've got no grounds to claim that all sell-side analysts are as smart as your 5-year-old.
Maybe about as sophisticated as my 5-year-old. My 5-year-old's actually pretty bright.
I'm sure he or she is, but you get my point.
I have about as good a batting average as anybody does on the long side, but I've been doing it on the sell side in the biggest bull market of your generation. So maybe you want to cut me a little bit of slack on that one.
I'm happy to cut you some slack, Carson. We've got you on. We've got you on as an expert short seller because there's an expert short seller story to talk about. But you don't need to go and criticize every single sell side analyst and compare them to a child, which is just not fair. That's what I was pushing back on.
What I thought about the ones who are defending. I was asked what I thought about the ones who are defending Nikola. Do you have a different question you wish Sarah would have asked me?
No, I'm just saying you said every single sell-side analyst. You said every single sell-side analyst, and that's all that I wanted to push back on.
You attacked me twice. You were the one who told me that I had no evidence Elon Musk was committing fraud when he actually settled with the SEC. So do you actually read anything, Wilfred? I mean, I know you're a good-looking guy with a British accent, but I really wonder, like, what do you read?
I read a lot. And to my point, Carson, you told people to sell Tesla stock short. So, again, Tesla's soared. You might well have been right about the nuances. But, again, this stemmed, Carson, we got you on because you're an expert in this area, and we stand by that. And I have other questions I want to get to. This stemmed because you said every single sell-side analyst, a lot of them who come on this network regularly and give up their time to do so, every single sell-side analyst you said was like a 5-year-old. That was unfair. That's what I was picking up on, and I don't think you can have any argument for me to pick up on that particular fact.
Wilfred, I didn't say every single sell-side analyst.
Yes, you did.
But you know, if you actually venerate sell-side research, I don't know what role you would have in investing. I mean, it's how many institutional investors do you talk to? How many of them ever tell you sell-side research is really a valuable tool? I can rely on that. I mean, we can. Like, I would love to have this debate about sell-side research. It's largely toilet paper. There's occasionally a sell-side analyst who's willing to go out on a limb and say something unpopular. I mean, in fact, sometimes I retweet such sell-side analysts, but they're a dying breed. And I don't know. Do you understand that about Wall Street? Like, I'm just baffled.
Well, so to that answer, you accept that not everyone is like your 5-year-old. So that was my point anyway. And do I understand this? Yes, I was a buy-side investor for 5 years myself. I took my CFA exams. I've dealt with sell-side analysts. I know that there is some incentive in all of their research, which is to entice a trade. So no one should take it as gospel. You were saying everyone should take every sell-side research analyst as a 5-year-old child. That's what I was pushing back on. It was a legitimate pushback. And your attempt to attack me as simply someone that's just a face and does no research myself is not fair. I had tons of great questions to get to, but final comment from you if you want to reverse any of your points, and then we're going to be done.
No, go ahead and get to them.
I'm saying we're giving you a final chance if you want to retract to the level to which you've attacked every single guest that comes on this network and me. If you would like to, then we can get to the final question. If not, there's no point.
Well, gee, Wilfred, I think you're actually mischaracterizing what I said just a bit. But let's say, and I really don't know if you'll disagree with this, but let's say, or I will say that the incentives for sell-side analysts skew greatly in favor of parroting management's line, particularly when a stock is controversial and particularly when it's the subject of a short report. Do you agree that that sell-side analysts are heavily incentivized under those situations to side with management versus the short side?
I think you can accurately point to the fact that sometimes there are conflicts of interest in the way this is set up, but that, again, is not what you said. So listen, I think the point being here is there's a middle ground that we can both agree on, but that's not what you brought up, and I appreciate that that's at least where you seem to be pointing to.
Why don't you get to your next questions, and and I think most viewers can make up their mind now about sell-side research based on our discussion. But please proceed with your next question.
Well, we are now out of time on this point, but I would like to make up on this perhaps after the show, Carson. We can get you back and we can get to the questions next time, because I think this is gone on too long for us both, I'm sure, and for our viewers. But again, we got you on because you're an expert in this field, and we did want to discuss that, and we thank you for that initial intention. Carson Block, thank you. We've got breaking news now on the Fed.